Ladies and gentlemen, you know, it's crazy how fast the news cycle in everything changes. You know, I had the intention of discussing MSI topics, you know, like the site selection, like Damwon getting screwed over, RNG having no coach, Iceland and so forth. Like I was about to, you know, make some conversation about that topic, but that topic is just gone, you know? That topic is just gone. We've moved on to the next big thing. And the next big thing is what LEC Wooloo posted. For those who don't know, LEC Wooloo says that he has a credible source. The real reason Bwipo will jungle now is that his teammates Niski, Upset, Hilly did not want to play anymore with Selfmade. Selfmade was always flaming his teammates hard. They preferred to play with Bwipo. Things went seriously wrong when Fnatic lost against top esports at World. So already there's a massive disconnect. So already there, you can note, like, it doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense. The real reason Bwipo will jungle now is that his teammates Niski, Upset, and Hilly did not want to play anymore with Selfmade. Selfmade was always flaming his teammates hard. Things went seriously wrong when Fnatic lost against top esports as Worlds, and Niski and Upset had nothing to do with that. Right? Selfmade blamed and flamed Nemesis so hard after the game, not the first time by the way. Reckless, Bwipo, and Hilly did not approve what Selfmade did. Now Selfmade is finally paying the bills. So who would say finally paying the bills? That's already, you know, that's silly. That's very, very silly. Paying the bills. I understand what this person is saying. You know, maybe there's some translation error. You know? Flaming mates behind the scenes. And he's trying to put the fault on others. Hopefully he will learn from that and it will not happen in Vitality. So they asked Bwipo, management included, if he wants to jungle. And everybody said yes and was supporting him, including all the other teammates. That's how Selfmade was forced to leave Fnatic. He ran out of options, sad for him, but it is what it is. So, first and foremost, on the topic of LEC Wooloo, you know, I've had this, you know, idea in my mind is, you know, the only people that would ever leak anything to LEC Wooloo are people that would actively benefit from leaking this thing, right? It's like, why else would anyone ever leak? So it's like, who leaks to LEC Wooloo, you know? Like, I would think fucking, you know, like agents maybe? Some scummy-ass agents out there. I think the whole thing of being, you know, anonymous and leaking things, you know, I think that's already creating, you know, an issue in itself, you know? Because people are only going to LEC Wooloo for some kind of benefit, right? And that's common, right? It's common to use journalists to, you know, just press buttons, you know? Another thing is, it might be people that are trying to become relevant somehow, right? Because a mistake that players do very often is that they talk way too much and they trust the wrong people. They just trust the wrong people. Like players in general. Players in general just trust the wrong people, and information that shouldn't come out comes out. You know? It's so important to understand as a player and as a community, but it's easier to do it from the player side because, you know, I try to make my players understand this, is that sharing things that went wrong and what people did in a team is never going to work. because you miss the entirety of the context. The entirety of the context, right? There is so much context missed. If it's like, yeah, let's pretend that this happened, right? Selfmade, after the best of 5 against top esports, said something he shouldn't have said to his teammate. I'm not saying it happened because I don't know if it happened. If it happened, in the context of maybe they worked all year long and that moment there was a lot of emotion in that moment in time, and you know, they went to 5 games against top esports and it ended in a disappointing way. Maybe in that moment in time something slipped. Maybe a day later, maybe there was regret, right? Maybe there was an apology. Maybe there was some bridging of, you know, you build some bridges, you learn, you know? In every team, there's arguments. In every team, there are things that go wrong. It's only natural. It's only natural, right? And if you just throw things out there without the context, people are gonna get burned for no reason. When I look at Spring Split, right? Spring Split was not successful, but there's no blame to assign. You know, in my mind as a coach, right? When I work with players, what I want from my players is commitment, right? I want commitment to each other. I want commitment to the project. You know, in a perfect world, you function in a team as if this is your last team. This is your last players that you're ever going to work with. Then you're going to give 100% of yourself, right? And with that in mind, it's similar, right? Like the same way I view my relationship with my girlfriend. I cannot give 100% of myself unless I truly believe in the idea that there is no one else. And I do. And this is how I give 100% of myself. The only way you give it an honest chance, you give 100% of yourself, you give yourself to something greater than yourself. So to continue on the topic, right? Whether this is true or not. So this is not true, I can tell you straight up. You know, this whole LEC Wooloo thing, it's not true. You know, there's a few groups of people, you know, like who work day to day that will only us will understand the context of anything that went down in spring. The same way, it's not up to me to judge what happened in the year before. I was there, Tolki was there, the players were there, and Chris, the manager, was there. And no one else has any valid input. And these people, these guys, I know none of these guys leaked this shit. Because none of them talk like this. None of them write like this. So whatever source it came from, it's not fucking credible. Because they don't have the context of the entire fucking spring split. And I'm sure as hell they don't have the context of the entire last year either. Because you need to be there to understand the context. You need to be there. And that's why I always tell my players, everything that happens in this fucking room stays in this fucking room. Because no one out there will understand the context. People always choose sides. People always misconstrue things. People will always make their own image of it. And that's dangerous. In a world where we are, you know, trying to give ourselves to a situation and be pure and honest, we're going to have moments of weakness. We're going to have moments of weakness. And how can a player function in a team? You know, it truly, you know, these players, they spend hours and hours together. Hours and hours together. And they're going to do things sometimes that they shouldn't have done, right? Normal. It's normal. It's called being human. You're right. He made me king. It's called being human. And when you take one thing and throw it out there, the crowd will have a frenzy, absolute frenzy. And a key thing as well is information can change. Information can change. Someone mentioned, Bwipo went on that talk show, right? He went on the crackdown and he spoke very harshly about some of his teammates, some of the play, right? He was very honest. And I'm sure he also realizes his mistake. And, these guys are young. These guys are young. Bwipo's 22. 22, man. These guys are under a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. Selfmade too. The man has competed now for 3 years. This is his third year. SK, Fnatic, and now Vitality. In regards to why things happened, 22 in esports is old. No, it's not. It really isn't. It isn't. People grow. People change. So often in esports, there's this. I try to steer clear from this this mindset. That the moment something goes wrong, you want to change players. And this is what I was trying to build with the guys. I was trying to make sure that in the off season, no matter what comes down, they are going to commit themselves to the project. And we were actively talking to Oscar. And in my mind, I was committed to this group of players with Oscar in the jungle. And I knew that there was a lot of lessons in spring. Right? There was a lot of lessons in spring that we are going to be able to deploy in summer. So in my mind, I'm working in that capacity. We had no personal problems with Selfmade. Outside of practice, this was one of the friendliest bunch that I've ever worked with. It really wasn't that, It's like Niski was making jokes the other day about, fist fights. We were good. We were good. That was the one thing that I was the most proud of in spring is, we as a group, we were capable of spending time together and enjoying each other. It was very, very good. And then, of course, it comes down to the situation of Adam, up-and-coming player. You want to, Fnatic is in the mindset that they want to secure their future, right? When it comes to re-signing players, sometimes you need to do tough decisions. And Adam was an exciting prospect. Our time to strike was now, so they went for it. And in the context of our group, Bwipo jungling is something that just makes sense. It makes so much sense. And I know the community is kind of on and off about it, but this is something that he has contemplated and something that has been in the back of the mind of the players that have, like the coaching staff that has worked with Bwipo for a long time. I've always contemplated and considered it. And Bwipo is the type of person that has a lot of fucking game knowledge. And any team that has Bwipo will massively benefit. And for us, Bwipo is a very, very key player. So in the context for us, for me, if I evaluate who is going to be more important for the team, between Bwipo and Selfmade, for me, naturally the answer is Bwipo. Bwipo has role swapped in the past, and I know how important he is for driving the decisions that we make in the game. He's a central part of the team. He has a lot of fucking game knowledge. He has a really good understanding of mid lane, of bot lane, of top lane, and this transfers very, very well to jungle. Jungle is pretty much understanding game state, understanding tempo, and that's it. And this is something that Bwipo is really, really good at. He rolls up to AD carry, played with Hylissang. Hylissang and Bwipo is lethal. It's a fucking dangerous, dangerous duo. Very dangerous. And I'm very, very happy to be the guy who brings them closer together again. I'm really, really happy about this. And Selfmade as a person, you know, this guy is... Oscar is very young. Very young. He has, you know... He has some maturing to do, but who fucking doesn't, you know? He has some maturing to do, but who doesn't? I think this guy has great potential. Great, great potential. I think Oscar will be in the scene for a very long time, and you know, I'm sad that we couldn't get the most out of spring. I'm sad. I'm really sad, and I hope that everything works out for Oscar, because I truly believe that this guy has great potential. He's a really, really fun character. He has you know, a lot of good attributes, and I think he's going to succeed. In spring, me and him and us and the team, we couldn't make it work, and I hope that in Vitality that he finds an even better version of himself. But in regards to Fnatic, you know, for us, for me, it was essential to make sure that Bwipo is in the roster. And Adam is someone that you sign to, you know, commit to long term and build up to something in the future. For now, you know, we've been doing very well. Like, our practice is going super well. The team atmosphere is functioning. You know, we're doing super well. Adam is joining. Bwipo is handling this really, really good. Really, really well. I think in Bwipo's mind, you know, he didn't want to be the person who, you know, replaces someone, because in our conversations in the off-season, for me, it was important that we commit to each other, right? That was the big lesson of spring, that we commit to each other, that we give each other everything. We back each other up no matter what, and we make a commitment. And that was a big topic of discussion. And, you know, finally, when the decision came down, like for me and the management, we knew that Bwipo was essential. We knew Bwipo was essential, and we knew that this is going to be, you know, the best way for us to have a good impact in summer with the signing of Adam. So it just made sense. And Bwipo, he's a professional. He's a goddamn professional. And in terms of strategically, you know, everyone's behind the idea of what the Bwipo can bring to the table. And players are behind it. I'm behind it 100%. And we're behind him. And this guy is the right guy for the task. I wouldn't put up any other person for this task, honestly. Not a lot of people can role swap. Not a lot of people have the right instinct for it. But top laners, you know, I myself role swapped. I role swapped to AD carry. I role swapped to jungle. And I understand how skills can transfer between them. Thank you very much for the raid, Ponyhoff. And that's it. I don't think there's much more to add on the topic. You know, you want to know the reasoning. Like, I think Bwipo is essential to the team. I think he's essential to the players. He's essential to me. Bwipo is a once-in-a-lifetime player that Like his impact on a team stretches beyond the role that he plays. And that to me is so important to keep in a team. And this is not a knock on Selfmade's abilities at all. Sometimes the world just functions in a certain way. Nevertheless, unless anyone else has any questions on this topic, then we can move on. I don't think there's anything else to share. I think this LEC Wooloo is garbage. I think this is some person that managed to hear one piece of it and put their own spin on it. And, you know, that's why everything needs to be internal, you know? It's like everything needs to be internal. In the heat of the moment, sometimes people say some shit. And that can happen. You know, I've said some shit, the other guys have said some shit, and they apologize and they move on and they grow from it. And sometimes you pull out something out of context, some random person hears it and it makes up the whole story for it. And that's not fucking how anything works. That's why you just don't, you know, you don't ever launder, like you don't bust out your dirty laundry, you know? You just don't. Hey Nelson, how you doing? What shit did I say? I'm pretty good when it comes to managing my emotions. You know, it has taken practice. But for example, in the past when I was a player, I was very toxic, very toxic. Good to hear that, Nelson. Congratulations once again on the new position. I look forward to competing against you. So another thing that people wanted me to discuss was the SK change. SK change. It's kind of weird. It's not the first time Jesus subs himself in, which is strange. Is this just Jesus' special tactic to find himself on the starting roster? He just joins as a coach and then puts himself in. Because, to remind everyone, you know, Jesus, he also benched Mickey X in Misfits. I don't know if you guys remember that. Why do we need to sub to view streams? It wasn't like that previously before you were a Fnatic coach, or are you monetizing every angle? No, it's like the VOD will be uploaded on YouTube for free. The reason why my VODs are sub only is because, like, you know, I don't want to get copyright struck. So that is weird to me, you know. Like Jesus has been subbing himself in on the other teams, but if everyone agrees, you know, I didn't think, you know, I had higher hopes for a player like Tinks coming in, and he wasn't, you know, amazing. I think a lot of SK's victories were steals. And I was very surprised to find them in playoffs at the end of spring, if I'm going to be completely honest. A lot of the games, they came back from deficits. They came back from big deficits. And there's a skill in that too, but it's not something that I would, you know, hang in my Christmas tree. That's a Swedish saying. So I'm not so sure. Yeah, like Treats found a good engage. But that's not the only thing that, you know. Like I think switching from support to jungle, there is some crossover. Like in the game of League of Legends, there's a lot of crossover. You know, there's a lot of crossover between all of the roles. The better you get, the more you know about other roles, because you're going to begin to learn how to interact with them, because you need to in order to actually win games and increase your chances. Sometimes you're playing a top laner and then you realize that, oh, you need to impact bot in order to win because you understand bot and so forth, right? But I just, for me, it's weird to put the treats to jungle in the same box as Bwipo to jungle, because I think Bwipo is a once-in-a-lifetime player. This is... Jesus agrees. There's a lot of crossover from coach to support. That's good. I like that. Let me just see what values roll real quick. Yo. They have made jungle much easier so players can switch and adjust faster these times. Jungle is easy if you want to make it easy. And the players that want to make it easy, like, did Wei just full clear? It's like the barrier of entry for jungle is way lower. That's for sure. And I'm sure 90% of the silver players, I can tell them, just keep clearing your jungle on spawn. Pick Shyvana and just keep clearing your jungle on spawn. And they will win a lot of games. But at the highest level, like, look at RNG, okay? Look at RNG. Does Wei, is he just full clearing? Is he doing nothing? No, he's doing 3 camps into gank. He's doing a lot of different things, right? He's doing a lot of different things. Like, people that want to chalk up, like, the barrier of entry is easy, but to be at the top is very hard. Same as Inspired. Inspired in Spring did very, very unique things. Very unique things. Like, gorgeous things. That takes skill. Very, 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 very good jungler. Wei did a lot of great things as well. It isn't, the barrier of entry is easy, but to be at the top, to be a great jungler is very hard. Not easy. You need to understand a lot of moving things. And you need to have good lanes. What do you view right now? Wei did full clear most of the games before ganking? No, he didn't. And it's also, you know, just because you full clear once to get level 4 on Udyr to 315 and then fight Crab, this is not the entire game, right? If the conversation is jungle is easier now than what it used to be, okay. I think there might be some element of truth to that. But to me, in my eyes, it doesn't fucking require a lot of skill to do red and then blue and then fucking gank. Is that hard? What's the skill in that? Right? There's nothing skillful about this, you know? Like, back in the day, you did red, blue, you got level 3, and then you ganked. Oh, holy shit, you're so fucking good for level 3 ganking with the leads. You know, there's a lot more nuance to it. You know, you can add layers to it. And I think the barrier of entry of being an LEC jungler, you can get away with a lot of shit. But when you play against good players, you notice that you can't fucking get away with any shit. Right? So, I think there's nuance to it. The other change is Zven got benched. People ask me about why Zven got benched. And all I can say is, you look at the players and the staff that C9 has, okay? So they have Mythy, they have Reignover, they have Perks. They have people that have worked with Zven in the past. very, very often. Like, not often, but for a very long time. That is, you know, that is, like, you just have to trust that decision. I don't think they're doing something stupid. You have to trust that decision. We don't know anything from outside. Even if I did, I wouldn't reveal anything. I wouldn't reveal nada. But I think C9 have enough credibility to take such a decision, not lightly at all, because they've been working with Zven for a long time. Zven takes imports a lot, King doesn't. Blabber should be sweating bullets, I think. That's the only angle that makes sense to me. But I doubt they're gonna make that big change right now, right? They are thinking about this year, and then after they're going to think about the next year. And they think that in this year, coming into the World Championship, this is going to be the best decision for them, right? But nevertheless,